It's your boy JTG, aka the author of Damn Why'd I Write This Book, and you are listening to RCWR Show. Yo!
Hey guys, what is going on? You are checking out an all new The RCWR Show. Your host right here, Lee Sanders, covering the very latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011 for this February 26, 2019. Come one, come all, stay a little while. Great episode that we got planned for y'all this week. Hey, you can get at me right now via the RCWR Show app, available for free in the Google Play Store. We also got the Discord chat. Shout out to those that are in there right now. Hope your weekend was good. And hey man, hump day right around the corner. We're almost there, my pretty babies. Hey, look, a lot of wrestling oriented stuff we got to get into on tonight's show, but before I dive into all that, I just want to say, with regards to what went down this weekend, hashtag Oscars so black, with the 91 Academy Awards, I got to give props to all the winners, but in particular, I want to give mad props to my brothers and sisters that came out of there and they were winning awards left and right. Now look, I know I'm going to ruffle some people's feathers the wrong way with what I'm getting ready to say about Black Panther, but hey, some categories that Black Panther won, I've seen Black Panther. It's a damn good movie, and I always find it so funny that everybody goes, oh man, Black Panther, first black movie, the superhero movie, and so we're going to forget about the Blade trilogy. We're going to forget about Shaquille O'Neal as Steel. We're going to forget about Shaquille O'Neal as Kazam, right? We're going to forget about all of those. We're going to forget about Mantis, was a short-lived series on Fox. We're going to forget about all of that. I just need to know how we're going to be playing this game so that I know the rules. But to originally see a lot of people, hey man, first black superhero movie, man. Oh man, hell yeah. And now that's kind of just been a little bit on the hush and everything. But just how I feel with Bohemian Rhapsody, as far as Bohemian Rhapsody winning certain awards, and you're, what? Wait, they won what? The editing. I know everybody had a field day with that on social media. There's some categories I look at from the awards and I go, wait, they won this? Like, why? Why? Seriously, why? And that's why it's just gotten to that point for me where when it comes to any award ceremony, I usually don't watch, because it just feels as though there's so much political bullshit that's going on. And I don't mean political bullshit from the standpoint of red states, blue states, Dems, Republicans. I don't mean that, but you have to admit that it seems over the years, at least within the past 4 years in particular, politics have been brought up more and more at a lot of these ceremonies, that it's just gotten to the point where, consider the one form of political bullshit from the Academy Awards I was just briefly touching upon, but now you've got the full-blown government politics getting involved in these ceremonies. It's just become unbearable to watch. Me personally, I like doing like most people, picking up a newspaper the next day and checking out the list of the winners and just saying, okay, because I see a good chunk of movies throughout the whole year, so I can easily just look at a list and I can say, yeah. Nah, I kind of call bullshit on that one. Now look, I know everybody is in an uproar right now over Green Book winning the award for Best Picture. If you ask me straight up, do I feel that Green Book should have gotten that nod? I would say to you, in all honesty, I'm a bit on the fence. Even as it stands right now, I am on the fence. And I've seen Green Book, so I watched it for the very first time with the missus yesterday. She had a rare day off from work. I got home a little early, and she said to me on my way home, hey, you'll never believe what's on demand. What is it? Tell me. it's Green Book. Like, oh, okay, well, yeah, let's go ahead and check it out. I didn't want to give her a little Debbie Downer, but I already knew that it was on demand. It had been on demand for a couple of weeks, but I didn't want to spoil that for her. I just wanted to, it excited her and, tried to feed off of that. So, okay, great. I suppose you want to check that out? We can check that out if you want. She goes, yeah. Anyway, we can check it out tonight. I said, yeah, we can check it out tonight. Loved the movie. It was a fantastic movie. I'm on the fence. I'm really on the fence, and I'm not going to go any further than that because me and her were actually going to be talking about it on a new 30 with Lee. We're going to see if we could pump out 2 episodes to wrap up the month of February for our Patreon members because we owe you all just a couple of more pieces of content to close out this month. We try to give you guys at least 4 to 5 pieces of new bonus audio and or video content. So we're definitely going to be sitting down to record that. We were supposed to record it Monday and tonight, but each time I got tied up prepping for something. So it sucked, but Wednesday my calendar is wide open. So as soon as she gets in from work, I'm definitely going to be grabbing her for about 30 plus minutes and we'll be talking about Green Book the movie, and we'll definitely dive into whether or not it should have won the Academy Award for Best Picture. But I'm just so happy for all of my brothers and sisters that shine so bright on the grandest stage of them all. And special shout out to Mahershala Ali winning another Academy Award. Great to hear, and what a nice bookend. I questioned why HBO decided to show the season finale of True Detective when it made all the sense in the world that maybe they should have just came back a week from Sunday or 2 weeks from Sunday, but it was brilliant how they did it. They just capitalized on everybody flocking. I think it was a very good strategic move. When I initially had saw that the season finale of True Detective was pretty much, I guess maybe hour 2 or hour 3, it just depends. I can't really recall right now. But the fact that it was pretty much going head to head with the Oscars, and I'm very curious how the numbers did for that night for True Detective, when I compare it to the other episodes. But regardless, I did talk about True Detective. For those of you that maybe are not aware of it, I actually did a season review after show. It is available on the YouTube channel, and that was actually pretty good to do. It was an honor. I haven't been that excited for a show, really not since Walking Dead had came along. I remember those first 3 seasons, how excited I was about it. And longtime listeners will remember this. There was a time where I did the reviews for Constantine. If you all remember that, it was on NBC, lasted 1 season. My God, I don't even think they were able to get a full season out of it because I think more episodes were supposed to be ordered, and it sadly did not happen. They just showed the last episode. I think maybe they got up to episode 12, 13, 14, something like that. And it just went on hiatus, and that series was in limbo as producers, execs were trying to figure out whether or not they wanted to order more episodes. And pretty much, hey, we want to order a full season. Come on, give us some more. And I remember there was a handful of episodes that I used to talk about. As soon as they went off the air, we saw what became of that show. So I haven't been excited for a TV series since those 2 examples. So it was really refreshing and nice to see people, because there was a decent amount of comments that were coming in from other people that shared their thoughts on what they thought about the season finale of True Detective. I gotta be honest, in case maybe you didn't read anything online, it's definitely mixed right now. You can check out some of the comments that's on that piece. It's on YouTube. Check it out. Yeah, man, Mahershala Ali, like I said, with the review for True Detective, and just what I've been saying off and on these past couple of weeks, that man has a hot hand right now. Everything that he touches is memorable. It is good. Just the quality, the directing, the casting, everything is just so on point. Remember, I got to work yesterday, and my coworker, he said to me, "Hey Lee, did you watch the Oscars?" I said, "Nah, I checked out the list next day." Yeah, I forget. Yeah, you do that just like me. I said, yeah, You think they got it right with some of the winners? I said, yeah. I said, hey, I see our boy Mahershala Ali. He did it again. Yeah. It's like, and you see that Spider-Man Into the Verse won an award as well. And we were talking about that for a few minutes. And everybody that knows their casting credits, Mahershala Ali is also in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So, I mean, he's just picking them bad boys up left and right. And I liked how the other day, the NCAA, they had shared their fond memories of Ali, because he used to be a college basketball player, and you're like, wait, what has this guy not done? And what really has surprised me the most, I'm not sure how many of you are aware of this, but apparently Ali used to be a rapper. He actually has 2 albums that's out. He went under the name Prince Ali. And I gotta tell you, them joints sound tight as fuck. He released 2 of them in 2007. I don't know what the hell. I don't know. I'm like, wow. Everything this, and I'm not just saying that. I'm not blowing smoke up this guy's ass. If there's somebody I'm not feeling as an actor, I call it how I see it. And I think I touched upon it on the True Detective review. I'm not really sure, but I basically had said that with regards to Mahershala Ali, he has that touch like Al Pacino. And I just remember when I was much younger, when I was in my late teens, going into my 20s. Huge Al Pacino fan. And I remember one of the first couple of jobs that I had got. I remember I would take my paycheck and I would go to Circuit City. I'd go to Best Buy, I would go to Suncoast, I'd go to Tower Records, and I would just be on the hunt for Al Pacino, any Al Pacino movie I could find. Now, let me clarify. This wasn't a case where I was literally taking my paychecks and they all were disappearing, right? 40 hours worth of pay and they're all disappearing on DVDs. No, it wasn't like that at all. For a lot of these establishments that I had went to when I was younger, they all were pretty much within the same walking radius or whatnot. So if it was a case where I'm looking for Al Pacino in And Justice for All, Tower Records doesn't have it. All right, fuck it. Let me go to Circuit City. All right, Circuit City doesn't have it. Okay. Hey, all right, I hit the money at Best Buy. Best Buy's got it, right? And then I'd be like, hey, Best Buy, what else do you have? And sometimes I would just do that. Sometimes I would make a sale associate be very happy to be working with me, right? Because I would just walk in, usually every other paycheck. And I'll never forget, me and Ebony, shout out to Ebony, we would normally, she knows this very well. She can back me up on this. We would go into whatever establishment and I'd say, hey, how you doing? Yeah, cool. Yeah, all right, well, I need some help. I'm looking for some movies. Anything with Al Pacino. Anything? Yeah, anything with Al Pacino. And next thing you know, they'd go to the computer and they'd type in Al Pacino and try to see what all they had in stock. And then they'd take me over to the section and they'd go, okay, well, as far as Al Pacino movies, this is what I got all right here. He's pretty much right here. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. And back then there used to be a time where that respected actor had a whole section of movies, right? So, you know what I'm talking about? Like, basically, you would have some establishments, movies would just be going by the alphabet, right? And then you had them broken down in romantic, drama, or whatever. But then you had some places that would just go, okay, this is our entire Denzel Washington section. This is our entire Sean Penn section. And depending on where I went, I would get the serious hookup when I would just see Al Pacino section. And I remember at one point, before I had got married, I remember I had every single Al Pacino movie. That shows you my dedication. I just felt that Al Pacino had that magical touch. Now, I will be the first to tell you that Pacino started losing that touch, I would say honestly, after 2006, maybe 2007. That's when whatever streak that he had going on, as far as the scripts he was attached to and everything, that's when the quality just started to greatly diminish, just role by role by role. So I'm very curious to see how he does in The Irishman, which is gonna see him be reunited with Robert De Niro. Joe Pesci's gonna be in it, and this movie is directed by Martin Scorsese. And there's very serious concern about this movie right now. Again, it's a Netflix original movie. There's some strong concern about this movie right now because the movie, half of the movie, it's supposed to show De Niro, Pacino, and I believe Pesci 30 years younger. So I'm led to the impression we're supposed to be seeing them maybe around their 30s or 40s. So when you hear that, you go, well, anything is possible. Like when you look at the last Ant-Man movie, not the one Ant-Man and Wasp, but the one before that, and you see how they did the great CGI work with doing a younger Michael Douglas, and then you see how they did Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy. They gave you a young Kurt Russell, and then don't forget Iron Man 3. They showed you, wait, was it Iron Man 3? No, I don't think it was Iron Man 3. I think it was, oh God, it might have been Avengers 2. I can't remember, but they did a young Tony Stark, and you're going, wow, they did a really good job with the CGI. So when you hear that, you go, okay, well, I know what the CGI stuff is capable of, but if you're telling me for the first half of the movie, not no 5, 10, 15 minutes, the first half of the movie, we're supposed to see De Niro, Pesci, and Pacino 30 years younger, and that's for half the movie. And what really has a lot of people concerned is nobody like Scorsese, top producers, they have not seen any of the work yet. And to make matters worse, it's not even up to 100% completed of the work that they need to do to get these guys, give them the CGI treatment. So it's, what's going on? So it has a lot of people concerned, but damn, we gave him way too much press. We're not even supposed to be talking about him right now. Mahershala Ali. Yeah, that's basically to bring it back at hand to the Oscars so black and everything. Yes. So when I look at Mahershala Ali, he has that touch like Al Pacino. Anything that he's involved in, he's got a hot hand right now, and he hasn't even really begun to scratch the surface. He just turned 44 years of age, and the best, as far as I'm concerned, is yet to come. I mean, he's got the hot hand, but I don't even think he's begun to scratch the surface. And Spike Lee, look, man, I feel for Spike Lee. I really do. A lot of us thought that when Malcolm X had came out, shit, Spike Lee's got this. Didn't get it. Then when Do the Right Thing came out, Spike Lee's got this. And it didn't happen. He has delivered some top-notch quality movies over the decades. And we as a society, especially in the black community, he's got this. And it doesn't happen. You feel for Spike because he's basically the Susan Lucci of the Academy Awards, right? If you know your daytime soap actresses and actors and all that. So I really legitimately felt for Spike Lee. I thought it was a little bit unprofessional that when his movie did not get the nod for Best Picture, when it did not get the win, him storming off and trying to leave, kudos to whoever it was that was working the doors and basically saying, nope, sorry, can't leave right now. Kudos to them for doing their job because they easily could have just stepped to the side and not even gotten in the way of Spike Lee. Seriously. So, Spike Lee, come on, man. I know you felt you had it. This was your year. I get it. But it shouldn't be about awards. It shouldn't be about, at the end of the day, it should just be about telling a really great story and that it's touching the lives of so many people, that it's having a meaningful impact on so many people in the most positive way and reflective way that's possible. And it has people talking as a result. I think if you're able to do that, then your mission is complete. You did what you needed to do. There are plenty of, and we don't need to talk about it on this show because it would be an entirely different show. We got 30 for Lee, with regards to that. But I said 30 for Lee. We got 30 with Lee. I could make up a list of movies that should have gotten the award for Best Picture that did not get it. I could do a combination of movies that were nominated but did not get the nod. I could even go with a hidden gem of a movie. Hell, I could go the Danny Collins route if I really wanted to, for example. Take it however way you want it. But you get the point. So Spike Lee acting the way that he was acting. And then look, we got to make sure that if we're going to tell this story about Spike Lee, we also need to put the spotlight on the fact that Spike Lee, one of the most socialist activists that's out there, he has been that main catalyst for some, particularly on the Republican side or whatever you want to call it, whatever establishment. He's been a thorn in, politically wise, he's been a thorn in some certain people, organization, party. He's been a thorn in their respected asses. And when you think about all of the people that are still in place with regards to the Academy Awards, God, it could be another 20 years before we are finally flushed out of some of them. What's the right word I'm looking for? I think the right words that I'm looking for right now, before we're flushed out of certain people that have enough stroke that, no, I don't like what he said about, let's see if we can fuck him over. I still believe that there is a bunch of bullshit, political shit, bullshit, thingamajigga bullshit at play when it comes to those Academy Awards. So I don't even know why people get all bent out of shape. And, you shouldn't have to have a show tell you the winners. You should feel it in your heart. You should feel it in your mind. Everything that I had said before. Hey, do we want for something that we liked, be it an album or a movie? Do we love it when, hey, all right, they got the award? Yeah, because it gives us vindication. It gives us validation on how we felt about that particular piece of music or movie. I get that, but I don't know. To each its own. Like for me, I'm good either way. Like I'm going to see what I'm going to see when I want to see it. Even if something looks bad and it turns out it's actually good, right? It's like, what the fuck were they talking about? Shit like that happens all the time. So I'm not tripping over those guys. So we had that, also what else had went down since last we were on the air with you all? I see that headline wise, sadly, very, 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 very sadly, Robert Kraft, owner of the New England Patriots, charges have been placed on him for the solicitation of prostitution. Another black guy for the NFL. I was stunned when I heard about this piece of news. I gotta be honest with you. I remember I was at work on Friday when the news had first came out, and my coworker Marcus, he came up to me, and me and him, we are always talking pretty much all things basketball and football mainly. And he goes, Lee, did you hear about Robert Kraft? I'm like, nah, what happened? He's like, you might want to browse online when you get a chance. I'm like, okay. Is it safe for work? I can browse this? It's like, yeah, you can browse it. I was like, okay. So I look it up and my mouth just opened up. Of all the NFL owners, I did not expect for Robert Kraft to ever be attached to something like the solicitation of prostitution. I was not expecting that. And it's quite sad that, let me be candid. Every single time I turn around, New England Patriots, they win a Super Bowl. They have to be one of the top franchises just across all the sports. When you look at the amount of championships that have been won, when you look at the great ownership that they have in the Kraft family, when you look at the caliber and talent of the players that they have been able to acquire all of these years, that is without a shadow of doubt one of the best organizations that's out there. But on that flip side, you can't help but mention the controversy that surrounds this organization. And it's infuriating. It really is. I'm not a diehard New England Patriots fan. They are a team that I follow. I am a fan of them, but they aren't the only team that I follow religiously every single season. We've been over this again, and I'm not going to repeat it on the show, but there are, God, at least 8-10 teams I follow every single season. So for me, all the good that the Patriots do, always the controversy. So whether you want to go with Deflate Gates, whatever, Spygate, whatever the fuck you want to call it, now you got this shit. And it's just damn right sad. And I'm most curious how the NFL is going to respond to this if these charges stick and Robert Kraft is found guilty for solicitation of prostitution. It's sad. I mean, I know some people are saying, hey, who hasn't been with a prostitute, blah, 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 blah. Don't be so narrow-minded like that. That's not even the whole point. When you are in that type of a position like Robert Kraft is in, it just goes to show you too that money, power, fame have around your arm willingly young women, any woman in the world, right? And I say young women because Robert Kraft has shown a history of dating women in their 20s, 30s, even 40s, right? So it just goes to show you that no matter what, some people have a dark side to them. And look, I'm not going to play Dr. Phil. I'm not going to try to pretend that I know what's going on in his head or justify where his head is at. But a two-part question that popped in my mind is, was this side always there long before his wife passed? And if so, was he acting on his impulses? Or was it a case where he was always loyal to his wife until she died and then, hey, okay, old man, all right, all the money in the world, people that he's able to fly in, Elton John or whatever, right? He's able to get them to come perform for him, give him a private show, all that jazz. It just goes to show you can have all the money and the fame in the world, but if your heart is in a dark place, nothing's going to be able to take care of that. So I just hope that if anything, what comes about from this, if you ask me what I ultimately would like to see happen come from this, he's an NFL owner. He should know better. Come on now. Look, we remember some of the pictures that had came out with Jerry Jones with strippers from a couple of years back. So if there was anybody that you'd go, wait, this owner is attached to what? Oh yeah, Jerry Jones, hands down. Like if there was ever an owner who you would just say, if I were to bet, okay, I'm going to say Jerry Jones. Some might say Daniel Snyder, right? He just looks like a creepy little bastard that has that type of vibe to him, right? But for it to be Robert Kraft, you just can't help but facepalm like a mother, especially with all of the controversy that has surrounded that franchise. It seems like, if not every other year, every 2 years or something like that. And it's quite sad. I gotta say, if I were the league, what I ultimately would like to see happen with Mr. Kraft, I would like to see them suspend him for the entire season. He cannot be on the training grounds. He cannot be at the games. He cannot be involved in the day-to-day operations. He can't be involved in no team huddles, no conference calls, no interacting with the players whatsoever, no emailing, nothing. Just a whole year. He needs to be exiled just for a whole year. And on top of that, since he's an owner, give him a heavy ass fine. Hit him with $1 million fine. If you can even do that, hit him with a significant fine though, and maybe you can have that money go towards charity. Also, as part of his suspension, I feel it would be really awesome if they also made it a mandate that he seek psychiatric help. You know, when you hear psychiatric help, it doesn't mean that you're nutty. It doesn't mean you're suicidal or anything like that. But if he hasn't reached out to a therapist or whatever, then that new mandate has to be given as part of his extracurricular activities, right? I think that makes all the sense in the world. So we'll see what's going to happen. But first things first, innocent until proven guilty. And I would like to believe that law enforcement and everybody else that has been involved with putting these charges on Kraft, that they would not do this unless they felt without a shadow of doubt they got this guy. Because think about it, for all the money that he has a net worth of almost $7 billion. So a guy like that, 9 times out of 10, friends in high places, friends with the president of the United States currently. So you better be damn sure you got everything crossed. Because if there's even one, no, you overlooked this, you didn't cover this, that could be your ass. That could be your career as you know it in law enforcement. So I'm pretty damn confident that law enforcement, with whatever respective evidence they've been able to accumulate on him so far, and they went on ahead and they made this information available to the public, they would not go forth if they felt, not quite confident, right? So, but still, innocent until proven guilty otherwise. But another black guy to the National Football League. And sometimes I look at all of this bullshit that's going on, and we got an owner that's acting like this. We've got players that's beating up their girlfriends, beating up their wives, disciplining their kid inappropriately, right? And all of these guys, we got fucking players that are involved in a fucking drug ring or animal fighting ring, and everybody gets forgiven. And yet you got a guy named Colin Kaepernick, can't for the love of him get anybody to hire him. Just something to think about. And now we got the report that's out there that Colin Kaepernick apparently wanted $20 million from the XFL or the AAF to play. I kind of question the timing of that. That just looks really, really bad, that as soon as this settlement goes down, and we don't know for the amount, but I find it rather all of a sudden just randomly, oh, yeah, Colin Kaepernick, he wants $20 million from these guys. Wait, what? First of all, I call that bullshit, especially with regards to the XFL, because I remember covering all of the news about the XFL's return up to this point. And one of the things that I did recap and touch upon was how Vince McMahon said, hey, with regards to players and whether or not they're going to stand during our national anthem for our games, oh, they will be standing, or there will be serious ramifications. There will be serious disciplinary action. So, wait a minute. Why would Colin Kaepernick, even if they could pay him what they could, why would he go to a team where the owner of the XFL is friends with the president of the United States, one of which this president has serious beef with Colin Kaepernick? You want to talk about being in a position where you could be blackballed? Do you really want to put yourself in that position? And this was something that I had touched upon many, many months ago with the news of the XFL. I remember touching upon Colin Kaepernick. I said, and I think the timing of this, it was before McMahon said what he had said about, everybody's going to stand for our national anthem when it comes to our games, blah, blah, blah. It was way before that. But I remember saying, hey, if Vince McMahon is very serious about the XFL, and he wants to get as many eyes on the product as possible, my recommendation to Mr. McMahon would be look at a guy like Colin Kaepernick. This guy could probably bring you think about his age, Still a great caliber quarterback. He's pretty much had 3 years to rest up, condition, all that. This man could definitely bring you that NFL demographic that does miss him, right? You see the amount of money that he's been able to generate off of Nike. You see all the media buzz, impressions and all that he's been able to get. Here he is 3 years later, hasn't played a single NFL game. And he's still one of the most talked about figures this very day. So it'd be a smart move to do business. If the guy wants, hypothetically speaking, if he wants 20 million, you know what I say? That's a damn good investment. If you can pay him 20 million, and you got him for 4 or 5 years for that 20 million, man, I say Godspeed, because you're able to lay the necessary foundation that you need to get the XFL where you need it to be. So, but I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I think Colin Kaepernick and his people, they are very, very smart. And I just don't see them putting Colin. I don't see Colin putting himself in a position where harm could come to him. It would be bad business to work with Vince McMahon and the XFL, knowing how McMahon basically said, no, you're standing, no, it ain't gonna be all political, it ain't gonna be no kneeling, you're gonna be standing. Okay, well, you know what? Screw that. I'm going elsewhere, right? And the AAF, didn't they just get bailed out by somebody? I mean, they were getting ready to face bankruptcy, and somebody, I think they needed like $250 million or some shit like that. And some owner came along and basically coughed up that money, and now he's, I guess, the majority owner of the AAF now, or some jazz like that. So that looks like it's on shaky ground. So doesn't really make any sense to go over there. I just call bullshit on all that. It just feels like whoever put that out there to do some type of sabotage on Colin Kaepernick. That's just the way I'm looking at it until proven otherwise, right? But interesting week these past couple of days. Talked about Kraft there and trouble with the law. You know who else had trouble with the law going back into wrestling, and it's a good segue as we get ready to talk a big bulk of wrestling stuff. Tammy Sytch, Sonny, got in trouble with the law once again. What do you say? What the hell do you say? I just want to play K's Choice Addict. If anybody remembers that song. I'm not an addict, it's cool. I feel alive. If you don't have it, you're on the other side. I'm not an addict. Maybe that's a lie. Look that up. It was alternative rock. I remember out here in DC back in the 90s, my God, 99.1 HFS, DC 101, they used to play the fuck out of that damn song. Mainly HFS. HFS was the main one to go to if you wanted to hear some straight up alternative underground rock bands and shit. But yeah, man, this girl got in trouble with the law again, and you can't help but facepalm and go, now what? Now what, Tammy? Now what the fuck is going on? So let's recap this for you guys. And this is sad because I follow her on Facebook. I follow her official business page, and I'm actually friends with her on Facebook. And before anybody asks, I try not to interact with her because she doesn't like receiving private messages, things of that nature. But I have sent her words of encouragement from time to time when it looks as though things are a little bit in turmoil. And I know somebody that she had dated for a series of months, it turned out they basically were lying to her. And I'm only touching upon what she made available to the public. And without giving any more away, because she also doesn't really like when her personal business is put out there like that, but you were led to the impression when she had found out this news, okay, screw this, I'm done with relationships, I'm going to do what I need to do, just continue taking care of myself, work on this farewell tour, and do what I need to do, resume my degree, blah, 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 blah. And then within 2 weeks, she was talking about how she was getting back with this guy. She wanted to make the relationship work. She was not going to be interacting with her fan base anymore. Whatever she was going to post now was going to be strictly business, all this other shit. And to her credit, she has been honoring that whenever she's had upcoming meet and greets, things of that nature, any upcoming projects. She's been promoting the hell out of that. But this latest bullshit that went down with her, it's sad, and you can't help but go, when is enough enough? So shout out to TMZ. They basically were able to dig up a little bit more information on what went down with her. She was arrested in New Jersey over the weekend. It was for a DWI. This is number 6. If you're keeping track, this is number 6 that she's been busted for drunk driving. Now, we know her history goes many years back, but pretty much what we're up to now, number 6. So, not good. Officials say the 46-year-old was driving the wrong way on a one-way street around 6:30 p.m. on Saturday. She also blew through a stop sign. When cops pulled her over, officers noticed she had an alcoholic container in the car and believed she was drunk, so they arrested her on suspicion of driving while intoxicated. Cops would further note in their incident report that they realized Tammy Sytch was driving on a suspended license and she had 2 outstanding warrants for her arrest. So as a result of that, she was taken into custody, hauled off to a nearby station. She was eventually released after facing a judge via video conference. So this is just damn sad. Arrested for drunk driving 6 times, started as far back as 2012. And then last year, she served 8 months in jail after 3 DUI arrests in 2018. This is very heartbreaking to hear. It really is. And growing up and dealing with a loved one that was abusing drugs, be it just a straight up heroin or cocaine or alcohol being the choice, what have you, it can be a real struggle to see that person that you love dealing with those demons and they're not able to overcome them, and you're rooting them on. You're trying to do your best to not give up on them, but at the same time, you want to do your very best to keep them alive. And it's one of those cases where if you really want that help, if you really are trying to clean your life up for the better, you have to really want it. Anybody else, a whole room of people can tell you why this is bad, why you shouldn't do this, you know, the ramifications of doing something like that. You could get the whole manifest. But if that person is not really feeling it within their heart, within their soul, they're just going to continue to do what they're going to do when they want to do it. And some people really have to crash and burn. Some people really have to hit rock bottom before they realize, oh my God. But then even at that, it might be too late, because maybe the end result of that is a life that is lost. If not theirs, maybe someone else's, or it's their life and the others, right? And you look at a case with Tammy Sytch like this, and you just shake your head and you say, Lady Luck has been so kind. So kind to Sonny. But sooner or later, that Lady Luck is going to run out. Sooner or later, it's going to run out. And at what price? Is it going to be her life? Is it going to come at the life of somebody else? Or is it going to be multiple deaths, including hers? It's very sad. And, you know me, I love my movies and everything. Just seeing what's been going on with her all the way up until this point. The way that she's conducting herself, the course that she is on right now, she reminds me of a very beautiful young actress. And she dealt with alcohol for many, many years. And ultimately, that's what did her in. Of course, I'm talking about, well, the name of the movie that I'm thinking of, it's called Angel and the Bad Man. And her name, if I'm not mistaken, is Gail Russell. And she is a pretty woman. Very gorgeous. She was gorgeous when you look her up. And I do welcome you guys. If you love your old black and white movies and all of that, look her up. She tragically had died at the age of 36. And she had a serious drinking problem. A serious drinking problem. For all the movies that she was involved in, her career in the films, it had began in the early 1940s. But the drinking problem, she was controlling it around that time, but it just seemed as though late 40s going into the 50s, it got worse and worse and worse. And her star power was at a point where, man, look how gorgeous she is and she's young. Oh man, we could do so much with her. Hollywood truly could have been hers. She could have been right up there with a Joan Crawford. She definitely could have been right up there with a Betty Davis. But the drinking is what did her in. She was married to somebody and they tried. They tried to do their best to get her cleaned up, continue to love her unconditionally, but it got to a breaking point where, fuck this. Guy Madison was with her, I think, from 1949 up until maybe, I think 1953, maybe 1954. And then he just was like, fuck this. And he divorced her. And that really sent her further down a spiral. And she didn't make it but a handful of years after their divorce. So the course that Tammy Sytch is on right now, aka Sonny, it reminds me to that of Gail Russell, who died young, and Sonny is on that path. And I really, really hope that before it's too late. I tell you, nothing gives me chills than a blog I had wrote a couple of years back when I was first beginning to do the podcasting and everything. I remember I had wrote a piece on China, and it was while she was still alive. And I remember she made the news because there was some type of a porn red carpet award show or something of that nature that she had attended, and she was drugged out. It was really, really, really fucking bad. And I just remember writing, my God, I had so many people that told me off and on over the years, that was a really good piece that you wrote. And I just put my heart into it. Quite honestly, I just put my heart into it. And the editorial, it was reflective on where her life took her up to that point, and a plea for her to clean up herself and get better before it's too late. And now she's no longer here with us. She died rather young. I don't care what anybody says. As far as I'm concerned, if you're dead before 60 or before you hit 50, that's young in my book. So I really hope that Tammy Sytch, I think with regards to the judicial system, the best thing that they can do for Sonny right now is give her the maximum sentence allowed, because it's obvious that she's continuing to do what she wants, when she wants. And when you have somebody that is being that careless, that is being that reckless, then I think you need to do everything in your power to throw the book at them. Give that person the maximum sentence that is allowed. And my challenge to the judicial system out there, that ultimately is going to figure out what is going to happen with her, do not let this be a Ric Flair situation. You just keep letting them skate on by. Some tough love needs to be shown, and she needs to be shown the book If you can keep her in jail for 2, 3, 4 years or whatever, make it so. I think then and only then, that's really how she's going to be able to clean up her act. But it's damn fucking sad. Trust me, I'm tired of coming on this motherfucker sounding like a broken ass record saying Tammy Sytch, aka Sonny, WWE Hall of Famer Sonny, in trouble with the law. Once again, I'm getting a little sick and tired of that shit. So I hope that from here on out, I never have to say that shit again. I hope that from here on out, I can say nothing but positive things about Sonny. Right? Only thing I want to be talking about is, hey, you Sonny fans, she's got this event that's coming up. Hey, you Sonny fans, she's getting married. This is when the ceremony is. She's going to stream it on YouTube or whatever. I don't want to keep talking about this negative shit that's happening. I really don't. Quite, God, it's nerve-wracking. It really is. Godspeed. So, other than that, hey, decent Raw that we had got for this week. We saw the return. Let's take your pick. I think we'll talk about Dave Bautista in the latter, but we saw the return of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns absent for a little over 4 months because his leukemia had returned and he needed to step away and he needed to fight this with all of his might. And we see Roman Reigns is back, and I know some people were looking at his shirt. They were looking at the new text and they were saying, all right, so new shirt means he's back, right? Could be. Let's hear the man first before we go there, though. So, great. That was just so great. I love the ovation. I love the outpouring support that this man was receiving from the crowd. If you guys recall, there was one part where he was talking, where he said something along the lines of, he wasn't really sure if he wanted to reveal to the world how his leukemia came back, and somebody was booing. And if you remember that scene, well, apparently there's multiple reports that saying there was one person in attendance that booed Roman Reigns and said he sucked. And if you recall, that booing that you heard, it quickly got died down as the fans were trying to chant on Roman. Well, one knucklehead booed Roman, said he sucked, and pretty much they did their best to shut that person up. I mean, look, I will give that fan in attendance a lot of credit. That was a ballsy move. Obviously letting it be known how they feel about Roman Reigns. But if you ask me, in my opinion, my honest opinion, there's a time and there's a place. With what he said that night, everything having to do with his return, giving us a health update, talking a lot about God, being biblical and everything, that was not the time or the place for that at all. At all. Now, if you wanted to do it later on during the night when he came back out, you're more than welcome to do that, because we saw what he ended up doing by the end of Raw. He got physical. You wanted to boo him from that point on, you go for it. But the man's coming back. He's giving a health update. If those reports are true, that there was one fan or a couple of fans that were booing him and saying he sucked, damn. That's fucked up. I pray to God that somebody that they love does not come down with leukemia or worse, because karma is a bitch. That's all I gotta say. But I'm happy that this leukemia is back into remission once again. Once again, he was able to fight it off. And I'm happy that he's back on the roster. Sorely missed. Look at these months. It hasn't been too kind. They've seen some pretty, let's be honest, piss poor numbers. They even kind of saw crappy numbers, truth be told. They saw poor numbers right before Roman had left because of what was going on creatively with the writing for these shows. Which, by the way, saw the return of Bruce Pritchard. Bruce Pritchard now back with the WWE full time. He is part of creative once again. A lot of exits were made on a Friday going into the weekend. So let me see if I got this straight. And you guys are going to have to update me in Discord and all that, and on social media, give me the update. So Hideo Itami, he's gone. Injury. Every time you turn around, injury. And it just wasn't clicking. He's gone back to the name Kenta. Hey, if he's going to go back to Japan, nothing wrong with that. Godspeed. So that's Hideo Itami. TJP. Creative has nothing for you. Okay. He was injured for a little bit, and then after he was 100% in the clear, many months went by. You don't see him. You know what? I'm fine with how everything had played out for him. Ty Dillinger wanting his release from the WWE. Here's a talent that could have just kicked on back, smiled, collect them paychecks. Anytime he was needed for a dark match or whatever, go do that. But hey, he could have pulled a freaking David Otunga just quietly collecting the check. But he decided he wanted to be outspoken. He decided that, you know what? I'm going to grab life by the horns. I'm not going to be content. I'm not going to settle. I want to do more than just be here and collect a check. I don't want to be on the sidelines. I want to be able to showcase my skills. God bless them. Some people, when you're in a position, you know, everybody can say, hey, if that was me, no, I wouldn't do that. But you just don't know until ultimately you're tested. And if your spirit is very strong, if you are one of those go-getters, if you are an individual that is all about production and everything, then to just be on the sideline collecting a check, yeah, that's fun. But when you're not made to be put in a position where you could actually showcase your skills, right? Many of us can relate to that for whatever respected job that we're in. I'm sure that there's some of us, I've felt it a couple of times over the years where, hey, I'm pretty damn good at what I do, but sadly my work is not being noticed. My work is not being appreciated. Damn, I kind of feel like maybe I need to go elsewhere. So who else is out there? Sometimes, and that's the case with Ty Dillinger. Sometimes you have to have that conversation with yourself and say, well, do I want to continue to be complacent, or do I want to continue to reach for the stars? Do I want to continue to try to do better for myself? So him taking the ball and removing himself from that situation, kudos to him. I hope he lands very well. Arn Anderson, of all the releases, Arn Anderson being dismissed. Look, let's be honest. Arn Anderson being fired from the WWE, pretty shocking. I would have to say, pretty much has been with the WWE since WCW folded. That one, and all the reports that's saying apparently there was some type of a verbal scuffle that Vince McMahon and Arn Anderson had at a recent live show. Some shit went down. Arn pretty much taking some type of accountability for whatever event had transpired. Apparently for Vince McMahon, not good enough. I like to know what exactly were the circumstances for Vince McMahon reacting the way that he reacted to Double A, because if this was nowhere equivalent to whatever went down that time with Fit Finlay, and he was working a WWE live event, everybody remembers that one where the national anthem was being sung, Miz interrupted it, and certain figures in the military, they were offended, and ultimately Fit Finlay had to fall on the sword for that one. He had to take one for the team, if you want to call it that, whatever. Right? You kind of remember Michael Hayes, Bobby Lashley, Michael Hayes, and some other shit, and you're like, right? I need to know what exactly went down. And until Arn Anderson is able to say something, I would like to imagine that Double A probably has a 90-day no-compete clause. we probably won't know what the hell went down until after the fact. Honestly, and he's still relatively young, has stayed in decent shape over the years. He would be a great pickup somewhere, whether you're Impact Wrestling, AEW, Ring of Honor. He would be a good acquisition. So he's going to bounce back with no problem. And here's the thing. Whether it's a case where AA wants to get back into wrestling, or he wants to get into the podcasting, he's going to be okay. You've seen this pattern by now. And look, let's be candid. Not every single pro wrestler gonna go into the podcast business. Not every single podcaster is able to do it. We've seen some underrated favorites over the years try to do their hand in podcasting, and it didn't quite work out for them. And you see what became of them. Their shows, respectfully, are no more. But when you have certain cats like an Arn Anderson, oh yeah. So he's going to be okay when it's all said and done. Were there any other releases that maybe I might have missed? If so, let me know. You can let me know in the chat, or you can let me know on social media. Shout out to Cody. Shout out to Joe. Shout out to Lee. Lee, I'm doing pretty good tonight, buddy. Lee Strack, I'm doing pretty good tonight. Shout out to Freddie. And yeah, man, if you haven't become part of our Discord community, please do, as we're making it our business to stream more exclusive content that you'll be able to hear not only on Patreon, but you'll also be able to check out on Discord. And it's awesome. It's nice being able to interact with folks in between the shows and all that. It's good stuff, man. It's good times. Good stuff. So Roman Reigns returning. I'm happy for the guy. Just getting back to that subject. I'm happy for the guy. I'm happy to see him back. I legitimately had a smile on my face. Happy to hear that the shit went into remission. I know we've got conspiracy theorists that's out there. I know we have individuals that want to pretend that they have a PhD and they want to try to give you this whole why it's bullshit, why Roman Reigns does not have leukemia. He never had leukemia. This is a work. And people, I just respectfully, I love all of you guys. I love when we have a matter of, I guess the right word you can say is, I like it when we don't agree on everything. And I love when we can have a healthy debate about it. Some of these comments that I saw about Roman Reigns and WWE orchestrating all of this, all in the name of just getting him over more. That's crazy. That is straight up fucking crazy. Just really stop and think about the ramifications. Really use common sense here. Right? Just use common sense. If this was a work, first of all, you know how many people would have to be given a substantial amount of money to stay silent? You think about key members of Roman Reigns' family, even his own mother, and then certain individuals in the WWE. Sooner or later, just hypothetically speaking, heavy is the crown on the head of one that has a guilty conscience. So sooner or later, somebody would flip. Not to mention, let's look at the domino effect of this. The relationship with the Susan G. Komen Foundation. If this was bogus, bye-bye, Susan G. Bye-bye your working relationship with the Boys and Girls Club. Bye-bye sponsors. Take your pick. Cricket, KFC. Who else they got fucking running around out there? Just, you name it, right? All those sponsors would just, no, we don't want any part of this. There would be such a domino effect. It would not be funny. The other thing that you guys need to realize is that WWE is a publicly traded company. So if a situation were to arise where somehow Roman Reigns' health comes up, let's just say for the sake of the argument, right? Knock on wood, this does not happen. But let's just say for the sake of the argument, Roman Reigns gets into a bad spot in a match, and it's so bad that the doctor that's checking him out, let's say Dr. A-Man. Everybody remembers Dr. A-Man. I know that's not really how you pronounce his name, but I like saying A-Man. A-Man, brother, A-Man. Let's just say Dr. A-Man is the one that treats him, and Roman goes on thinking A-Man did what he needed to do, but no, that injury that he has sustained, it worsens, and so much so, it's infected. Now he's pissed off. He does not want to deal with the WWE medical staff. He wants to go work with his own team. And they basically say to him, oh man, sadly you came to us a little bit too late. This is a little bit more than a staph infection now. Looks like there's some neural damage that happened, blah, 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 as a result. Roman Reigns decides, okay, I'm going to sue the doctor or whatever. Let's just say he practically pulls a CM Punk. He quits WWE because he didn't like the way the medical staff had did him, and he decides, you know what, fuck these guys. I did what I needed to do, and they didn't really take good care of me when it counted the most. And he decides he wants to sue the WWE. And so, are you with me so far? Now you have a case where medical records and all that is going to open up. Now, with regards to Roman Reigns' leukemia, all of that is now unsealed, right? So history will show, okay, these individuals knew about Roman Reigns' leukemia as it was first revealed in his paperwork dating back to, you understand what I'm saying? So I don't honestly believe that WWE would just orchestrate all of this just to try to get the man over. Furthermore, you know how fucking idiotic that sounds? So we're going to keep one of our top guys that we just literally put the WWE Universal Championship on. We're going to take the title off of him. We're going to have him sit at home for 4 months and collect a check because we want to give him rest, relaxation, and we want him to come back bigger, badder than ever. Right? That just does not, no. We are going to risk our ticket sales. We are going to risk network subscriptions, pay-per-view buy rates, meet and greets. We're going to risk all of that. Media opportunities, right? WWE in-house projects. We're going to risk all of that just so we can try to get a story over. I love you guys. I mean, I love going the whole conspiracy with the best of them, but this is one where I say no, because there would be so much at stake. And there would be so many people that you would have to constantly check up on and make sure you haven't said anything to anybody. We're still in the clear. We're good. Yeah. Okay. Great. Nah, man. Somebody would have been cracked by now. So I'm not buying that. I know that we got people, and Lee Strack says it the best. They would be blackballed. Exactly, Strack. So for me, I'm not buying any of that. I know that there are legit Roman Reigns haters. I know that with regards to Roman Reigns fans, Roman Reigns, he definitely touches all those hot buttons with people that do not like him. All I have to say to that is just imagine whoever your favorite wrestler is. In my case, you know, one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, I met him in person. He acted like a dick, but I still appreciate all his contributions to the business. Shawn Michaels. If Shawn Michaels were to come out in 3 months and say, hey, I got cancer. It's prostate cancer. I'm really scared. Doctors feel that maybe they caught it in time. I don't really know, but I got to undergo chemotherapy immediately. So I really appreciate y'all's thoughts and prayers right now as I go through this. Hey, I'm right there. Shawn Michaels would definitely have my thoughts and prayers. I am not going to all of a sudden act like Dr. Phil or act like fucking Dr. Quincy, MD, or Dookie Howser, MD. I'm not going to act like those guys. And then all of a sudden I have a fucking medical degree and I'm going to question, hey, my man, you don't look sick enough. Hey, my man, you don't look like you're creeping death just yet. What the fuck? No, I'm sorry. I'm not touching that. I'm not. I'm going to play to my respected strengths, as you all should. And you notice that the people that are talking like this, these are people that 9 times out of 10 do not know what it's like to have a loved one, to have a close friend dealing with an illness like leukemia or worse. I'll never forget, and we were on this very show when the news had first broke out. One of my all-time, I grew up on this dude. And anybody in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, you know exactly the guy I'm getting ready to talk about. But NBC Washington news anchor Jim Vance, did he have the smoothest delivery when it came to delivering the news? Here in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, when it comes to the news, I noticed that we care a lot about personality, because that's what really gets the stories over and everything. And nobody could capture you. Nobody could really paint the picture so bluntly, so smooth, and give it to you like you are just talking to this man at a bar and just having some drinks, like Jim Vance. And I remember there was a period where Jim Vance was off of TV, and I just remember asking some of my friends, well, what's going on with Jim Vance? What the hell? One of Tammy's friends actually used to be a producer for NBC Washington. So, we were trying to find out, hey, what's going on with Jim Vance? We ain't seen him in a couple of months. What's going on? Is his contract up for renewal? What's going on? And we knew months before that apparently he's been having some serious health problems. And that was about it. That much we knew. We didn't know if it was cancer or what, but we knew that, talking to the camera guy, the producer, we knew that he was having some serious health problems. So he finally pops up after a series of months of an absence, and he revealed that he had cancer. And you're like, oh shit. And he tells you, hey, I'm taking my treatments, I'm doing the chemotherapy and everything, and I'm going to beat this. And I'll never forget when I had watched him. This was towards the end of the 6 o'clock news, I remember. And when he had revealed this, you just saw this grim look on the faces of all of his colleagues. And I'll never forget Doreen Gensler, his co-anchor. She was teary-eyed like a motherfucker. And you look at all of these faces and you're going, man, this does not look like, yeah, man, you got this. You're gonna kick its ass. Get out there. Do it. It looked as though they were beginning the process of saying goodbye to Jim Vance. And then after that announcement, just a handful of months later, he died. So we saw him go from looking like this nice, good, husky looking guy, nice beard and all that, to a man that, for his height and stature, looked as though in the final weeks of his life, looked as though he weighed Jim Vance had been standing at least maybe 6'4", maybe 6'5", looked as though he used to weigh maybe 250. I mean, that's not fat in any way. That's kind of, nice and thick. And when I last saw him, because they had revealed that they had put him on a mural on Ben's Chili Bowl. They put him up on the mural over there in DC. And when they showed one of the last pictures that he took out in public, my man looked as though he weighed about maybe 100 pounds. Now, could you do the math? If he's like 6'4", maybe 6'5". I'll say 6'4" to be on the safe side. He started off at 250 and now he's down to 100 pounds. Something don't sound right, right? And he looked very, very sick. So in some instances, depending on where exactly stage of that leukemia, that cancer is, early detection, that's what it's all about. It's all about listening to your body. You know, young people don't get that because they feel that, especially when you're in your 20s, you feel that you're invincible. You can take on the entire fucking world. You're Superman. No pun intended to Roman, but you feel as though nothing can stop you. You're fucking bulletproof. But that's why you always hear the old saying from your parents or your doctor, hey, listen to your body. If something doesn't feel right, if you're feeling a certain way, listen to your body. Don't ignore it. Blah, 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 blah. And that really rings in true when you're in your mid-30s and beyond. You go, something doesn't see what's going on here, right? Biggest blessing in disguise for me was being diagnosed with my type 2 diabetes. My God, almost, I think, a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. It's probably been more likely 2 years ago. And, you know, I never knew. I would have these serious mood swings. I would get very pissed off. I'd be yelling and I'd have these headaches. I would always sleep and I wasn't sure what the hell was going on with me. And to find out exactly, I got my doctor telling me, yeah, this is exactly why you're acting the way that you've been acting is, yeah, you have type 2 diabetes. It's like, okay, well, what can we do? What can we do to try to, you know, cause my doctor's telling me you're still pretty young. He's like, so, you know, we can kick its ass. We can reverse it. It's like, you just gotta stick to the regime and everything and try to eat smarter and, you know, blah this, blah that. It's the best thing I ever did. You know, like I said, when you're in your 20s and younger, you don't think about all that shit. You're invincible. But when you're in your 30s and all that, you really gotta start listening to your body more and more and more. So, I appreciate people that wanna, I think this is a conspiracy. I think WWE's bullshitting here. I hear where you guys are coming from. And I know there are legitimately some of you guys that really mean well, but you gotta take a serious step back and you gotta think about all of the ramifications that could come as a result of it being fabricated. There is so much that can be lost. Forever, this company's image would be tarnished. And you would practically be sending your audience to the competitors as a result. You would definitely lose a big bulk of your base because their trust has been violated. You feel where I'm coming from? So no, I do not believe that they would even go to those type of lengths, all in the name of just getting one guy over and risking losing all of that money. And no, sorry, I'm not buying it. Seeing the Becky Lynch angle once again, Becky Lynch on a crutch, limping her way, and you got the poor fucking security guard that's there. Please stop, please. And I'm seeing how she's able to go in there, get in her licks on Ronda Rousey and everything, and there's like 5 fucking cops that have a tough time grabbing her, putting the handcuffs on her, and dragging her up the ramp. Okay, I get it. Stone Cold Becky Lynch. I get it. But see, here's the thing. If you're gonna go in this direction, visually, can we at least make it look more pleasing to the eye? Right? How many of you guys watch Live PD on Friday nights, Saturday nights on A&E? I know I do. I love watching that show. Love having a drink, laughing my ass off at the idiots on there. You've seen many times on Live PD when it comes to a woman that is very aggressive. I mean, physically aggressive. Like, she's ready to fight motherfuckers. You see how aggressive the cops are with that woman. And if push comes to shove, if they need to slam her on the ground, they slam her on the ground. I'm not saying they had to do all that to Becky Lynch on Monday's Raw. But man, were they acting like they had kid gloves on? The way that they were dealing with her, fuck that. Fuck that. If she's being all that difficult, she's not complying, she's got a bad leg, kick that fucking bad leg, make her fall on the ground, gang up on her ass, put some handcuffs over her freaking wrists and put handcuffs over her legs and carry her ass out, almost like you're hog tying her. Carry her ass out that way. That was just, oh man, so bad. I cringed. And look, when it's all said and done, that's not Becky Lynch's fault. It's not. Now, given the position that she's in now, I would like to believe that as far as, well, hey, yeah, that sounds good, but, you know, since I'm doing the character, I wouldn't do, I'm sure for a lot of these talents that's on that roster now, I think depending on who you are and really understanding your position in the company and everything, some people, they can say X, Y, Z. Yeah, good point. Yeah, we'll do it this way. I'm not really sure if Becky Lynch is at that level and can really give in that type of input, right? So I can't really put all of the fault on her, especially if it was a case where she made suggestions and ultimately, nope, this is the script, go out there, do that, right? But for the people that's booking this shit, I look at some of the stuff that they've had with Becky Lynch, and it's been pretty laughable, I have to say. And again, it's not her fault. Ronda Rousey acting like a pouty little girl, pretty much just dropping the title in the middle of the ring because she's not getting her triple threat. She wants a piece of Becky Lynch. She wants for the match to be a triple threat. She ain't getting what she wants. Drops the title in the middle of the ring. Now, see, I hope that when Monday comes back around, now that Charlotte basically had said tonight she's going to appear on Raw to be crowned the new Raw Women's Champion, I hope that Ronda Rousey and storyline did this as a ploy, just so she would be able to get her hands on Charlotte. I hope maybe that's the case because I don't like the way that made Ronda look. Again, I don't like the way it made Ronda look. It made her come off very weak. You know, honestly, the way I would have done that, I would have preferred it if Ronda had said, and this is where I'm very conflicted because I wish the MMA/business side of Ronda Rousey would have came out, because when it's all said and done, why should Ronda Rousey care if it's going to be a one-on-one or if it's going to be a triple threat? She's getting ready to go to WrestleMania. It's about to be one of the biggest paydays of her entire life. And that's pretty much what you've worked towards, which is not only being at WrestleMania, but having a marquee matchup, because the higher up the card you're on at that particular event, the bigger the payday. So why should it really matter to Ronda Rousey if she's going to be facing one person or if she's going to be facing two people for her championship? Why should it really matter? So I kind of wish that they would have almost pulled a Brock Lesnar with Ronda Rousey and basically say, if I would have been writing that, I would have had Ronda Rousey say to Stephanie McMahon, let me tell you something. I've had problems with you and your whole family since I've pretty much got here to the WWE. Here we are now, fast forward practically a year later, and here we are once again, and y'all are meddling in my business. Y'all are affecting my money. You all are affecting my big payday. And you doing this bullshit with Becky Lynch. Let me tell you something. Either you put her on in this match and we give everybody, including us, the company, a good opportunity to make some serious cash right here. Or, I'll tell you what, I'll take this championship and, I don't know, maybe I'll go give Dana White a call and, I don't know, maybe I'll give Cody Rhodes a call. And that would have just been a, ooh. I really wish they would have just went in that direction and she would have just walked off with the title and had them choke on that for a little bit. But just having her act like this pouty little girl, that's how it came off to me. She came off as a pouty little girl since she couldn't get her way. I don't want to play no more. You know? But she has this, there's something about Ronda that I'm noticing that I'm really starting to like. She has this uncontrollable rage. You know what I mean? It's a hysterical, God, I'm just picturing her in a bad breakup. I'm picturing her crying, beating the living shit out of somebody. Like whoever it is that's breaking up with her. I'm picturing her crying, and I'm picturing her just bashing their fucking skull into the wall, right? How could you do this to me? You know, she just seems as though she has this uncontrollable rage. And I like it. And I saw that on hand with that promo she had with Stephanie. Yeah, it was a bit shaky. Some of her lines, she flopped, you know, she fucked up. Let's admit it. She fucked up, but hey man, it happens to the best of them. She's still getting the hang of shit, but she's come a long way. But I didn't like any of that shit, how it went down. I just cringe. Seeing Dave Bautista return, Cloud Nine. I loved it. I was in heaven seeing Big Dave return. You all know I had the opportunity to see Dave Bautista at last year's Awesome Con and recorded the Q&A session that he did. We actually have the Q&A. It was him and it was somebody else, two Guardians of the Galaxy alums. I ain't going to spoil it for you guys that didn't hear it, but it's on the YouTube channel. You can check it out. I believe maybe I put it up in the Awesome Con section. But type in Dave Bautista, and you gotta make sure you spell out his last name with B-A-U, and you know the rest. Don't do the WWE Batista style, otherwise I don't think you're gonna find it. But I was happy. As a DC native myself, happy to see Big Dave back in the WWE. It looks as though we're gonna get this Triple H match, and last we had heard, Triple H, he had got injured, remember? He got injured at, what was that? Was it Crown Jewel? When Triple H had got injured? So he's been rehabbing all this time. I'm like this. If Triple H is 100% and he can go, let's see this match. Let's see it happen. I'm excited. I'm legitimately excited. I'm more so excited for Batista because I know how vocal he's been over the years about that last run that he had in WWE. That's not how he wants to be remembered. He wants to go out strong. He wants to go out the right way. He just turned 50, and I like how they did this. It's off to a really good start. I'm legitimately excited. I really am. More so for Dave, because I really feel like this go round, they're going to do their very best to do right by him. And I see how everybody had a field day with Dave Bautista dragging out what looked to be a drunk Ric Flair. I was among the first that put that shit out. It looked like Rick had too much to drink and Dave Bautista was dragging his ass out of the bar or some shit like that. That was hilarious, man. I love seeing. But you know what? When you go back, it was a little bit sloppy. Because actually, if you remember, we see the one frame where Dave Bautista is dragging a cameraman with him, goes into Ric Flair's dressing room, shuts the door. You shouldn't have did it like that. I think, honestly, what you should have did was you should have panned over to Ric Flair's dressing room and you hear some type of commotion. Maybe you could hear Ric Flair say, "Please, no, no." You know, you could have, oh God, no, oh God. You know, you could have did something like that, right? And just heard a bunch of shit being thrown around. And then it's silent. And then the next thing you know, Dave Bautista comes out. And there you have a very limp, he looks to be a drunk and out cold, a dead looking Ric Flair, and he's just dragging his carcass out. And then you could have had it in the way that it ended with Batista saying to Hunter, "Do I have your attention now?" as he's looking dead in the camera. I would have been fine with that. A little sloppy, but it was good nonetheless. And look, call me someone that is a stickler for detail, but the one spot that had me really going. So everybody is out to celebrate Ric Flair's 70th birthday. And by the way, to the knuckleheads that were going, it wasn't even Ric Flair's birthday. His birthday was on the weekend. No. His birthday was legitimately on Monday, the 25th. Go look it up yourself. You can see what year he was born. Okay? He was born on February 25th. There is such thing, people, as folks gathering a day or two before the actual birthday. And I think what confused a lot of people was the fact that they saw the Ric Flair get together. There was a ceremony. It was basically a pre-birthday party. And you had Evander Holyfield, Charles Barkley, Chris Jericho. It was a great who's who that was all there to celebrate Ric Flair's birthday. So officially they had the gathering over the weekend, and makes a lot of sense considering where a lot of those people probably would have had to been, during the work week. So, hey, if it could be pulled off during the weekend, and most people don't work during the weekend, why not? Most people do that. I know for me all the time, whenever over the years I've had a birthday that's fallen on a work week, like a Monday, a Tuesday or something like that, I'll usually do something with friends and family over the weekend, basically a pre-birthday party bash. And then when it comes to the actual day, either that's for me, or me and immediate family, and we go do something, or if it's just me, I'll plan out my day accordingly. It just depends. A lot of people do it like that. I know that may sound kind of weird to some of you guys, but that's how a lot of people actually do it. But I bet you that's what threw a lot of people off. They saw the video over the weekend. Cause now that I think about it, and I'm amazed that nobody had made this distinction, because I had wished Ric Flair happy birthdays, or happy birthday in advance, and nobody picked up on that. I basically just said, happy birthday, Ric Flair, right? Because I was reacting to the video. And everybody else was going, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. Not one person over the weekend, hey, actually his birthday's not till, nobody said that. So I think it's even more hilarious that there were some people on Monday saying, it's not even your birthday. So whatever. But I thought it was hilarious how you see what's going on with Ric Flair. All the superstars that came out. Sting was there. I love how Sting snubbed Seth Rollins. I laughed my ass off looking at that spot. That was hilarious. But they're all looking up, all the superstars. They're at the ramp. They're looking at the Titantron. And they see what's happening with Ric Flair. And yet Hunter is the only one that runs backstage to try to go check on him. Now somebody tried to say, Ali, they all were just in shock. That's why they all didn't move. I'm sorry. That just looks so fucking awkward. If all of those people, the Ricky the Dragon Steamboats, the Sting, you know what I'm saying? You could have easily done it in a way where Triple H says, hey, what happened? What? Rick, hey, somebody come with me. The rest of you guys stay here. If Sting, Ricky Steamboat would have all ran with him backstage, try to see if they could locate exactly where Rick was, and then they meet up with that common area at the end of how Raw went off, right? That would have been fine. And then he could have said within that earshot, everybody else, y'all could just stay up here, just in case Batista comes through here. And then once Triple H goes back, Rick, you okay? Did you see where Batista went? Where'd he go? Did he go to the stage? Did he leave in a limo? Where'd he go? I just really preferred it if they would have fine-tuned it like that, instead of making that entire roster just stand there like do 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 do. Where was that sense of urgency when Kurt Angle was on that walkie-talkie? It's happening! It's happening! Where was that? We didn't fucking have that, but it was still good for what it was worth. I'm still gonna enjoy this for all it's worth. I'm gonna kick on back. I'm gonna enjoy this story that they're telling. What's the carrot dangling over the head? Is this a case where some realism is going to be incorporated into this rivalry between Batista and Triple H? Is this going to be a scenario where Batista's going to give that real talk, right? And say to Hunter, you know how many years now I've been trying to get back into the WWE, how I've been trying to end my career on the good note, and how every single time you and me have had conversations, blah, 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 blah. Are we going to bend reality a little bit, and are we going to really have some fun? What exactly is the story that we're going to be telling with this one? So I can't wait. I can't wait to see what they're going to be able to come up with on Monday. Also, McMahon and crew pissed off ethnics once again, particularly blacks. They couldn't even make it past Black History Month without pissing off blacks everywhere. Kofi Kingston has been pulled from Fastlane as a shocking return was done tonight on SmackDown. It was the return of Kevin Owens. It's now going to be Kevin Owens in place of Kofi Kingston that will be taking on Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship at Fastlane. A lot of people were pissed off in attendance for SmackDown tonight, seeing that happen to Kofi Kingston. New Day members selling it well. 11 years this man gave to your family. 11 years as Shane and Stephanie, they were looked at by the New Day. What the fuck? Are you going to let your dad come out here and do this, do something? And they were just standing there like, sorry, but our hands are tied. He's the boss. We can't do anything. That was some powerful visual stuff right there. And it made a lot of people wonder, well, maybe Kofi Mania is going to happen. Maybe Kofi is going to get his chance against Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. It very well could happen. I personally would love to see that happen. Nothing would be more refreshing, more revigorating than to see Kevin Owens. I would like to see Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, no doubt about that, but I would like to see Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan have a matchup on the biggest stage of them all, WrestleMania. That would be fucking badass. I mean, when you really stop and think about it, when was the last time a brother faced somebody in one of the main events at WrestleMania for the title? It's been a good minute. So I personally would not mind if that's the course that they're going with this. I personally would not mind it whatsoever. And I like how this Kevin Owens that returned, not heelish. If anything, this was a Kevin Owens, hey, it's kind of fucked up how this went down, but to try to make things right, try to make peace. Hey, Stephanie, Shane, could you please consider putting me in a tag match with Kofi Kingston to take on Daniel Bryan? And I need you all to jog my memory. I can't remember who Daniel Bryan's partner was for that main event match, but that was just a little out right there. I'm a little bit perplexed because the vignettes we've been getting with Kevin Owens enjoying life, spending quality time with his son. What's going on here, right? Now, if you're going to sell me Kevin Owens loves eating meat. Kevin Owens will use all the toilet tissue to wipe his ass in the world. He's not going to use one fucking square. Kevin Owens doesn't really give a damn about recycling. If his trash can is full and shit needs to go out, recyclables be damn, it's going to go out on trash day instead of recyclable day, right? Kevin Owens likes sleeping with the light on. Fuck conserving energy. Right? He's going to keep the light on while he's sleeping. If you're going to sell me that, I'm okay with that. But this is very, very interesting territory that we're coming across right now with Kevin Owens returning. There is so much that's happening right now. It's almost a good time to be a WWE fan because all of our favorites are back. Add into that the NXT 4. Add on top of that a pending Sami Zayn. Now, I don't think Sami Zayn is going to be back in time for WrestleMania. I honestly don't believe he's going to be back in time. Wasn't there an interview that he did with maybe Edge and Christian, I want to say, where he talked about how he's nowhere near close to coming back and he didn't understand why they were showing vignettes of him when they were hyping up the other NXT guys and all that. So, but with what we have right now, these guys are coming back at a really good time when you need as many eyes on the product as possible. So, good stuff right there. Hey, you guys enjoying the show so far? If you are, make sure if you haven't done so already, do click the heart or the like icon button. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you're following me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. Let's keep rocking. Let's keep rolling. I want to give a shout out to some of our Patreon members because without their kind contributions, content like what you're checking out right now would not be made possible, let alone for free. So shout out to our Patreon members, Anthony Missionary Thomas of Wrestling Soup. Which, by the way, in case you guys had missed the news over the weekend, me and Missionary Thomas, we are going to be hooking up over the weekend, every single weekend, and we're going to be recording a episode of Missionary Position, where we're going to be talking about the WOW, Women of Wrestling promotion. As you all know, I'm a big fan of WOW. I've checked them out faithfully every single Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern on Access TV. If you aren't able to catch it at that time, an encore usually comes on early Saturday night at 2 a.m. Eastern. Pretty much as soon as they get done showing usually New Japan Pro Wrestling, the encore of that is when they show the encore of WOW. But that is a really great series. I love it. And I tell you, like I told Mish, it's a great honor to be talking about that promotion, but it's a bigger honor to be able to talk about it with my good friend and Missionary Thomas. So check that out. That's something that we're doing regularly for you guys. I'm not going to put a time frame as far as when it drops. I just know before the weekend is out, usually it drops, but as soon as it drops, I definitely share the links, retweet it, all that good stuff. Right now, the way it's looking, those are only available for all to check out via the Wrestling Soup Patreon page. You don't have to sign up or anything. You can pretty much just look for it. It's already unlocked and you can download it, and it's good stuff. We usually talk about it for about 30 plus minutes. So good stuff. Happy to be on board working with my friend and talking about a great promotion that we both love very much. And if you're not able to get Access TV, there is something called Rabbit, and I want you guys to look into that. It's basically this platform where I guess somebody is streaming a show and you can pretty much jump on in and watch it that way. And again, it's called Rabbit. So type in RABB.IT. It's unique how they have the web address. So RABB, put a period in there, IT. Or as soon as you do a Bing or Google search and you just type in Rabbit, As soon as you type it in, it's the very first link. You can't miss it. It says Rabbit, the way to watch anything with anyone, and you can watch WoW that way. But love that promotion. Really good stuff. So yeah, shout out to Anthony. Shout out to Joe Raymond Jr. Shout out to Michael Wolf, and shout out to John Davis. Appreciate you guys as always. And hey, do consider being a Patreon member with us. Patreon.com/RCWR Show. As for $5 a month, you guys can check out bonus audio and video content, get exclusive access to upcoming RCWR Show episodes days before it's released to the general public, and so much more. Patreon.com/RCWR Show. We try to do our best to give you 4 to 5 pieces of bonus content monthly via Patreon, if not more, depending on how the free time is looking. So actually going to be sitting down tomorrow to do a double 1-2. Gonna be dropping a 30 with Lee, covering 1975's Brennigan, starring John Wayne, his last cop effort, second go round. He's being a cop, and gonna be reviewing Green Book. I am aware about the Hulk Hogan movie. For those of you that's curious, I am aware this is going to be written by John Polano Strong and Scott Silver, the Joker. There is no script just yet, but once it gets finalized, it gets agreed upon, then production will begin. But it's interesting that the person that's going to be portraying the immortal Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea, is going to be Thor's own Chris Hemsworth, who also is serving as a producer, along with Eric Bischoff. The Hulkster is supposed to be an executive producer. So, look, I need to see the script, and apparently this script is going to have a lot to do with the early days of the Hulkster. It's not going to take us up to him versus Gawker, and it's not going to take us up to his nasty divorce with Linda Hogan. It's not going to get to that point. Just the early days of him starting off. Look, Hemsworth is what's really concerning me right now. And until I'm able to see a early script, right? An early screenplay script, I'm not going to put too much judgment out there. I'm not going to bash this in any type of way. The casting of Chris Hemsworth, he's too good looking. He's too good looking. So my challenge to Chris Hemsworth, and I'm actually going to make this be an excerpt. Don't just try to portray this role, fully embody it. And this is where an actor like Chris Hemsworth really needs to dig down deep. If I'm Chris Hemsworth, I'm looking at the methodical steps that the late Heath Ledger took to play such a iconic role in the Joker in the Dark Knight movie. I am looking at, you want to talk about another great character actor, Rod Steiger. Phenomenal job. Al Pacino would be another one. Before he basically stopped being a character actor and he's just Al Pacino, in every single goddamn movie. He acts the fucking same now. But I need to see Chris Hemsworth really dig down deep. Hell, you want to go more recent, Matthew McConaughey or Christian Bale, and you see the phenomenal work that he did with The Machinist and what he did with Vice, right? Or Robert De Niro, Raging Bull, Sylvester Stallone, Copland. I need to see Chris Hemsworth really dedicate himself to the role. So if that means he needs to put on more bulk, so be it. If that means he needs to get his hair cut a certain way so that he can really look that part, then so be it, right? But he has to be fully dedicated to this. He has to be eating, sleeping, living, breathing the life of the Hulkster 24/7. I'm curious how he's going to be able to get the voice down, if he's going to be able to get that down at all, the mannerisms, all of that. I need to see exactly and know exactly how serious, how far they're going to take this movie. Is this something that they're looking to win some awards, get nominated? How far along are we looking to take this? So yeah, for me, everything right now, I mean, I could easily shit on it. I can make fun. I can do so much stuff with this, but for now, I'm going to say, hey, sounds promising, but I need to see a lot more. So first things first, I need to see the script. Give me an early copy of the script. We can pretty much go from there. For you Dean Ambrose fans, you know, supposedly he's going to be wrapping things up with the WWE and everything. And it looks like with regards to WrestleMania weekend, he's going to be pretty busy. Check this out. I don't know if tickets are still available, so you'll have to check it out. But tickets went on sale Wednesday, February 6th at 10 a.m. There is the 2019 WrestleMania Access. And check this out. You have premium VIP packages that went for $190. And pretty much that includes admission, autograph, and professional photo op with a VIP WWE Superstar, exclusive VIP line at the event entrance, and one 8x10 glossy photo of the appearing superstar. So on Thursday, April 4th, you get Charlotte Flair. That Friday, you get Ronda Rousey. Also that Friday, you get Shane McMahon. Saturday, April 6th, you get Seth Rollins to kick off the day. That's followed up with Becky Lynch, same day. Sunday, April 7th, you get AJ Styles. Now, if you can't do $190, there's a $125 VIP package. And on that day, you guys get on Thursday, April 4th, New Day. Again, this is the $125 tier. Friday, April 5th, you get Sasha Banks and Bayley. That's followed up with Miz and Maurice. Saturday, April 6th, afternoon begins with Daniel Bryan, followed up with Braun Strowman and Asuka. And that Saturday wraps up with Tommaso Ciampa and Shayna Baszler. Sunday, you get Dean Ambrose. So, some pretty cool stuff right there. We were talking about Bruce Pritchard earlier. Of course, with him returning to the WWE, a lot of stuff is up in the air right now as far as media obligations with the Something to Wrestle With podcast with Conrad Thompson. A lot of people wondering, okay, so what's going on here? We know in some form Something to Wrestle With is going to continue on, at least in the form of being on the WWE network, because we heard a couple of months ago that Something Else to Wrestle is going to be coming back on the WWE network. So that's great news. But what about the podcast itself? That's a lot of time. That's a lot of research that those guys do. It's a really great show. It's helped really put Bruce Pritchard on the map, and him being back in the WWE, I don't mind him being back. I was actually fond of some of his work during his brief time in Impact Wrestling. And I know that there were some really cool moments in WWE, in particular the Attitude Era that he was responsible for. When it's all said and done, not everything he did was a home run, and we all could be in agreement of that. But just following up on what he was trying to do in Impact Wrestling, of which I enjoyed, I can't wait to see what he's able to do this go round back in the WWE. So, if anything, what's going to happen with the podcast? You know, is this a case, and I'm sure a lot of people have been speculating, is this WWE's way of trying to keep him from possibly working with AEW in a full-time capacity mode? You know, what is it exactly? Because feathers are ruffled of one McMahon that Undertaker is doing the StarCast event, even though the StarCast event isn't exactly associated with AEW's Double or Nothing. It is what it is, but I gotta tell you, looking at these dates for something to wrestle, if you guys are going to be in the following areas, you may want to make it be your business and check everything out. I am seeing that on March 1st, Catch the Boys in Connecticut. Pretty much a week later, March 9th, looks like maybe Indiana, Crown Point, Indiana. March 10th, Cleveland, Ohio. Then out of the U.S., beginning on March 22nd, Sydney, Australia. March 23rd, Melbourne, Australia. March 24th, Brisbane, Australia. April 6th, come on back to New York City. And April 8th, Brooklyn, New York. So those are your dates. Not really sure if there's going to be even more dates happening, but we'll just wait and see. Other than that, hey, the Honky Tonk Man was revealed by CBS, radio or CBS Sports, was revealed earlier today that he is going to be taking his rightful place in the WWE Hall of Fame. And that made a lot of people, wow. So he finally accepted, huh? Well, okay. About damn time. But no, seriously, a lot of people are looking at this and they're kind of a bit on the fence. They're wondering what exactly has changed with the Honky Tonk Man, because Honky Tonk Man has been very critical. He's been very vocal about the WWE Hall of Fame and whether or not he wants to go into the WWE Hall of Fame. So when you hear all of this and then you find out that Honky Tonk Man is now going in, curious minds want to know what exactly has changed. Now look, I grew up on the Honky Tonk Man, and it was so funny because when they were showing the vignettes for him earlier tonight on SmackDown, I'm laying in the bed with the missus and I say, do you remember Honky Tonk Man? And she goes, vaguely. And I actually get out the bed and I start doing the dance, it's like, I'm just a honky tonk man, and I'm cool, I'm cocky, and I'm bad, and I just start, and, she saw the part where somebody has said, oh, you look like Elvis Presley, and he says, Elvis Presley, I don't even know who that is, I'm just me, and she scoffed at that. She goes, the hell he doesn't know about Elvis Presley. He's like, she said, that nigga lying. I said, yes. He's straight up. I said, but yeah, it's a rip off of Elvis Presley, but hey, come on, Honky Tonk Man, you can't beat that. All the contributions he's made for the business, some of my fellow colleagues, they know about the shoot DVDs and all that, right? And I'm sure they would agree with my assessment on this, which is when the shoot video industry was an infant, guys like Honky Tonk Man really helped put it on the map. Guys like Honky Tonk Man that was so outspoken and had these really cool ass, intriguing, colorful stories to tell. God, you never hear this in the WWE. Oh my God, you wouldn't read about this in a pro wrestling magazine. Guys like him came along in the shoot video industry. Talents like him really helped blow it up. Now it's oversaturated because there's so many promotions that's out there now. And a lot of the wrestlers, even the old school wrestlers that were running around in Honky Tonk Man's era, now they are getting a bit more smartened up about, okay, well, should I really do this podcast? And you all know about the infamous interview that I had with Kayfabe Commentary, Sean Oliver, last year? And we were talking about his book, and you heard the choice words that he had said about basically in his own book in black and white. Sean Oliver talks about how podcasters as a whole are basically taking money out of his pocket because the wrestlers that are able to come on to these podcaster shows and they're telling their stories and everything, basically by the time these wrestlers get to him, he can't do anything with them because they don't already hoard themselves out. And, I think Sean might have been unintentional, but that would be for him to say, not me. But the way he worded it in the book, it was basically podcasters are taking money from my table. They're taking money from my wallet. You know, they're taking food out of my mouth, basically. And it was so weird because it's like, okay, so wait a minute. So you frown upon podcasters that honestly are doing it right. They're hitting up these talents. They're telling them what their show is about. I would like to believe that overall podcasters are honest with their numbers, honest with the traction, media attention that they would be able to get for these guests that come onto their show rather than just, okay, I've got Bruno Sammartino on my show and only 3 people checked it out. And it was my mom, my dad, and my sister, right? Teach its own. But I would like to believe that a lot of the podcasters are being honest when they're able to book these guests on their show. But at the end of the day, these men and women, they're grown, right? Some of them have agents and all that. And, you know, for a guy like Sean Oliver, you know, you can't really be upset at these talents that want to go on these podcasts. And if you feel that infuriated, if you feel that frustrated that, hey, these podcasters are getting to you before I can get my hands on you. Well, it's all about evolution. And if you guys remember, I asked him on the show, I said, what's the next evolution for kayfabe commentaries for your company? You know, where do you see yourself going next that others are not? Cause you always got to stay ahead was my whole thing. And at that time, it really sounded like he didn't really have anything that was going on. And I tell you, when I look at how Conrad was able to just come right on in and do this StarCast thing, I can't help but say, Rob Feinstein, RF Video, how come you didn't think of this a lot sooner? When I look at a guy like Sean Oliver, for all the bravado and the smarts that he puts out there, and I'm not knocking the guy, I'm just being real, I'm keeping it 100. All right, you're always talking about being ahead of everybody else in your industry and everything. Why wasn't this part of that next evolution? Why aren't you the brains behind StarCast? It's just really nerve-wracking, right? So I find it interesting that on the one hand, podcasters are frowned upon, according to him, for those examples, yet he expects podcasters to, I won't say grovel, but he expects to be booked on podcasts to book his, he expects for podcasts to have him on their shows so he can put over whatever book or put over whatever DVD or I don't know. That just kind of rubs me the wrong way when I hear that shit. So, but Honky Talk Man going into the WWE Hall of Fame, like I said, came to the whole shoot industry, one of the godfathers in helping a lot of these promotions out. There's some very interesting words that he had said with regards to going into the WWE Hall of Fame a couple of years back. And I want to play for you all now that audio. I want y'all to listen to this and I will come on back and we'll talk about this a little bit more. Slow this up for you guys. 3, 2, and 1.
From AC in California, same subject, says, yo, I read these verbatim. Yo, what the fuck's up with the Hall of Fame and why aren't you in? Vince McMahon Sr.'s damn limo driver is in and you're not. Why don't they appreciate the real history of wrestling? The limo driver, is this true?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Dudley.
Dudley, okay.
Why I'm not in? Obviously they haven't asked me, but if they did ask me, would I go in? That is like the question of all time. Would you go if they asked you? Well, I'm not really sure if I would. And that's a good, and I get asked that question a whole lot. And they say, well, Pete Rose is in. Pete Rose wasn't a wrestler. That Hall of Fame is a bunch of bullshit. I mean, Paul Orndorff said it the best. He said, I got a first class ticket. I had a nice hotel. I had a good dinner. I got a good payday. And I got a $35 fucking plaque that I left in the hotel room. So, there you go. It's not a Hall of Fame, for Christ's sakes. I mean, I know wrestling fans are very passionate about some things, but the Hall of Fame is something you shouldn't be passionate about. You know, I mean, Jerry Lawler called us druggies and homosexuals and all kinds of things for years and years on his TV show. And then he gets inducted. Dustin Rhodes, baby. Heck, with a P1, that fat piece of lazy shit. He's in the Hall of Fame. Mr. Perfect blows himself away with an overdose of cocaine. He's in the Hall of Fame. But now they say, well, we're not sure if we can put Benoit in there. Benoit took that fucking extreme wrestling shit to a higher level, brother. Nobody, I don't know if anybody can top. I don't even know if New Jack or one of those guys can top that shit.
So you might not even take it if they offered it?
Not right now. I'm too busy. I do my own thing. See, if I did that and you said, come on down, let's do this thing for the video and let these people know what the real story is. There's a no-compete clause for like 90 days after the Hall of Fame where you can't do anything in wrestling. And I think they try to slide that if you go to the Hall of Fame, you have to clear all your bookings with them. Guess what? Fuck you! As Sheik would say, fuck you! Fuck you!
So, there you hear it. Very interesting. So, again, what the hell has changed? And does he now need the money? Or is this a case where, you know what, the timing just feels right? I think I should go on ahead and take my rightful place in the WWE Hall of Fame. So outspoken. And that's the one thing about Honky Talk Man. If you are a fan of shoot interviews, DVDs and all that, Honky Talk Man has circulated for many years, always candid, gives it to you right between the eyes. Maybe not what you want to hear, but you need to hear, right? So for him to now accept this induction, what exactly has changed? And per what he just said, there's going to be a period there where now that he's going to be going into the Hall of Fame, any radio shows, any podcasts, any wrestling events, everything has to be green lighted by the WWE for the next 90 days, supposedly. Now look, maybe the language has changed since then. It's very well possible. Who knows? What changed? Is this now an older man that is being even more reflective and realizes that his time on this earth is running its course? He's making that one last lap around the racetrack, and before he goes out, he wants to be enshrined. Is that what's going on? Is he trying to more so give this moment for his family and give this for the fans? What's really behind it? And his speech, of all the speeches, I always appreciated the Honky Talk Man. I always thought he was a good promo talker. I didn't really care too much for him in the ring, but I always thought promo wise, I tolerated him on the mic. I love hearing what he had to say. I would imagine of all the speeches, if you ask me, who am I eagerly most anticipating? It's going to be his, because you just heard what he said. So I'm most curious how he's going to validate, right, going into the Hall of Fame with this out there. And Lord have mercy, I would love to be among the first to be able, and I think we might try. We might try to see if we can get Honky Talk Man on the show. He may want money though. I'm letting you guys know that right now. He may want some money to come on the show. And if he wants money to come on the show, if it's within reason, maybe we can make it happen. But I would love to know. Okay. So what happened? What changed, brother? We got you on tape, on video saying this. What changed, man? So, but until that happens, for now, he's going in the Hall of Fame. I'm excited. I'm legitimately excited that he's going to be going in. Long time coming. Should have happened a long time ago. The fact that it's taken this long is quite funny. Gotta be honest, quite funny. So at this point, like I said, for our Patreon members, you guys are gonna get 2 episodes we're gonna record for you all tomorrow. We're gonna record a new 30 with Lee. That's going to be talking about Green Book, and then we're going to record 1975's Brennigan movie review. So 2:30 with Lee episodes covering those. And this weekend, you guys know there will be a new missionary position doing a WOW recap. That'll be hosted by Missionary Thomas and myself. So that'll be fun as well. And your next edition of the RCWR show is going to be coming at you on Tuesday, March. God, already. Good God, time fucking flies. Tuesday, March 5th. I can't believe March is practically here. I'm going to have to start promoting that upcoming AwesomeCon appearance. I like doing it about a month plus in advance. So I'm looking forward to recording some ads for that. That's going to be great. But yes, it looks like March 5th will be your next episode. You all may have noticed that Impact Showdown went on hiatus after a couple of episodes after we just brought it back with WrestleMania season in effect and everything. I just don't have the time right now. I'm thinking after WrestleMania is in the books, I can come on back and I can start doing Impact Wrestling coverage again on Impact Showdown. But I have been watching Impact Wrestling every Friday night soon as WOW goes off the air. So I know everything that's been going on. Maybe next Tuesday we can talk a little Impact Wrestling, and I'll let you guys know what I've been thinking about some of the things that's been happening on that show so far. Be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you may have missed, available on demand and on the downloads. And you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. That is going to do it. I am wishing all of you all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go round. Adios!
Thanks for listening. An Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive.